What is up, budget builders? My name is Trill, and today the stimulus negotiations for the revised reconciliation bill continue. But I wanted to make a quick video on the latest updates out of Washington. As most of you guys probably already know, we are in the home stretch of the negotiations for the upcoming reconciliation stimulus package. Congress is currently working through these negotiations, and their goal right now is to get it passed sometime this week. Now, given that House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has now said that the package is almost 90% complete, it seems that the goal could become a reality. But don't get your hopes up too high, guys, since this bill has already been delayed by over a month from when it was originally promised to the American people. Now, things are changing super rapidly as the bill gets closer to being finalized. But I just wanted to give you guys a quick update on where things stand for low-income households and the benefits that they could receive from this reconciliation stimulus bill. Now, supposedly this is known as the anti-poverty package. So let's quickly go over the four main benefits in this bill for those in poverty right now. And then I want you guys to leave me a comment down below letting me know that if you agree that this package is doing enough to be called the anti-poverty package. But before we go ahead and get started, hey, if you could do me a huge favor, go ahead and hit the like button for us. And if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. It's totally free. And let's go ahead and jump right back into the video. The first big potential benefit is the extension of the child tax credits. And to put it simple, all the child tax credit is a monthly payment of around $250 up to $300 per month for low-income households with each children. Now, how Congress defines low-income households is somewhat controversial, as it means people making $75,000 or less for individuals and families making $150,000 or less. This is controversial because many Americans believe that there should be another subcategory in addition to that for people to get more benefits, since someone making $75,000 a year is in a much better different place than someone making $20,000 a year. But that's a topic for another video for another day. Now, currently, the reconciliation bill includes another full year's expansion of the child tax credits. So people will continue to keep getting these and to receive these monthly stimulus checks through 2022. However, many lawmakers have been pushing for a 4-year expansion to expire in 2025. And that push is expected to get stronger and stronger in the coming days. But at the very least, unless this reconciliation package gets cuts again, we have a guarantee that the child tax credits will continue for at least one more year to the end of 2022. Now, the next big expansion that is being talked about in this stimulus package, which is primarily by Senator Bernie Sanders, is the Medicare expansion. Now, Sanders and others have been pushing for the expansion to include coverage for hearing, vision, as well as dental coverage. But as of right now, that goal is a big maybe. Now, Bernie did state the other day that it's not coming out. Sanders said on Saturday that the expansion of Medicare to include dental, hearing, as well as vision coverage is staying in the human infrastructure bill, despite the doubts that we've heard from President Biden. And then he sent out this tweet right here saying that the expansion of Medicare to cover dental, hearing, and vision is one of the most popular and important provisions in the entire reconciliation bill. So it does seem promising still. However, there will at a minimum be an expansion of hearing coverage, which of course would be better getting than getting nothing. But definitely expect to see a lot of people like Bernie Sanders in the coming days continue to prioritize the Medicare expansion benefits. And then the third major benefit that seems like a lock right now is an $800 voucher card or a debit card. Now, Medicare beneficiaries for dental coverage as well as the possible hearing coverage, depending on how negotiations go. And they could very well be able to get and include a second $800 stimulus card at a later date. While this idea has seemed helpful in theory, many have taken issue with the voucher for a couple of reasons. Now, the first reason is that most people would prefer to just get an $800 stimulus check rather than a voucher that that has to be spent in a certain way, especially on something that everyone may not need right now, such as dental work. Americans would rather see that money being used for a variety of things, especially considering that surveys recently show that some elderly and Social Security recipients are forced to eat just one meal per day. It's crazy to think that I have an $800 voucher in my pocket, but no food on the table. Now, the other huge criticism is that the $800 voucher in many cases is not even enough money to cover someone's dental coverage or their dental costs. Things like dentures can cost up to $3,000 and many procedures are over $1,000. So while the $800 is helpful, it does make it appear that though lawmakers are not even in touch with how expensive these costs actually are for everyday Americans. But for this particular benefit, we aren't very likely to see a lot of movement in the coming days. So don't expect this $800 voucher or $800 debit card to change all that much before the bill is actually passed. Now, the final benefit update has to do with the increased funding for the Section 8 that has been talked about over the last few weeks. Now, Section 8 is an essential bill that is intended to provide funds for rental and housing assistance for low-income families. Now, in the original stimulus package, there were about $327 billion set aside for expanding Section 8 while creating housing vouchers and marking specific funds for rental assistance. But unfortunately, this number has been cut by around 2/3, and it is expected to land somewhere between $100 and $175 billion. So yeah, that price change is a heavy blow, but it will be an important topic to follow in the coming days, as it's still pretty much up in the air right now as where that price figure will actually end up. So there you have it, guys. If you or your family is considered in that low income bracket, these are the major benefits that you can expect from the stimulus package as of today. I've said this a few times already, but just to reiterate it again, this is the absolute most important period of time for the stimulus package right now, because the negotiations are in their most important phase, which is the negotiation phase. It's also the absolute best time to make sure that your voice is heard. I highly recommend you reach out to your representative and making it clear what benefits you want to have expanded in the reconciliation stimulus bill or any future bills that will help push them to advocate for them more seriously in the time when it matters the most, whether it's flooding their inboxes or flooding their voicemails. These next few days are when your voice will be the loudest. So please, guys, please do not be afraid to use your voice. Your voice is also crucial right now because the inclusion of another stimulus check in the reconciliation bill is still completely up in the air. Just to remind you that when the last stimulus package was being negotiated about 10 months ago, the stimulus checks wasn't added until the last couple of days, which for this stimulus package is right now. Most Americans and many in the progressive movement within Congress are pushing for an increase in the stimulus checks from $1,400 to $2,000. However, it's very likely that if we are going to get a stimulus check in the first place, it will stay at $1,400, just based on the previous history of the stimulus checks and the Washington politics. But if we crunch the numbers, guys, getting a stimulus check included wouldn't be that big of a deal right now in the expansion to this stimulus bill. Let's say that we were only trying to get the stimulus check for senior citizens. According to the Senior Citizens League, about 70 million people will qualify for that stimulus check. Now multiply that by $1,400 per person, and we get a cost of around $98 billion. This might seem like a huge number, but the extension of the child tax credits that we talked about earlier in this video is going to be around $450 billion. So a stimulus check would be less than a fourth of that amount right there. So it seems as though there is definitely room to fit a stimulus check into this package once again. And as it always is, a stimulus check would absolutely be vital for so many Americans right now. Our seniors, our Social Security recipients, low-income earners, and many more. Focusing again on senior citizens as an example, the Senior Citizens League has reported that as the pandemic goes on, more and more people are forced to deal with the fact that current Social Security benefits are simply not enough. People are cutting their drug pills in half. They are skipping meals every day and even skipping out on the needed medications altogether, just so they can afford the more basic necessities. A stimulus check would again go a long way to alleviating a lot of that stress and anxiety of not being able to afford day-to-day life. So once again, guys, now is the time to make your voice heard by contacting your local representatives. Either way, big news is going to be just around the corner. But anyways, guys, hey, that's all I have for you today. Now, if you enjoyed this type of content and you want to see more, hey, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. It's totally free. And if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and hit the like button for us. It definitely helps out a lot, and it also tells YouTube to share this video with others. But anyways, guys, hey, I appreciate you guys stopping by and watching, and I hope to see you on the next video. Peace.